Hey everyone, just waiting for, we're just admitting people now from the waiting room. I'll just call out some names even though we haven't met. Hello Joe, hello Jasmine, hello Tamsin, hello Molly, hello Jim Spire Academy. Sorry if I've left you out. Right, we'll get going, it's just gone 10. So thank you. We are recording this session just to let you know so that we can, anyone who couldn't attend, or if you want to rewatch it, we'll send it to you afterwards. Just a brief intro from me, and then I'll hand over to the experts. So thank you very much for subscribing to this Instagram Masterclass. My name is James, and I'm the Digital Marketing Manager at LoveAdmin. For those of you who don't know who LoveAdmin are, we work with about over 1,000 organizations and clubs in the UK to help them save time, reduce admin, and increase income with our software. So if you are struggling with your admin and you're tearing your hair out, then please visit loveadmin.com and find out more about us. But yes, without further ado, I'm going to hand over to Emma. I think Emma will reiterate this, but if you have any questions, maybe grab a pen and paper, write them down, and then at the end, Emma will you can pick her brains and pop them in the chat as we go along. So over to you, Emma. I'm going to mute myself now and stop talking.
Thanks, James. Hi everyone, thanks for joining today. So I was just saying to James then earlier, if you have got any questions after the masterclass, if you want to pop them into the chat, I'm happy to answer them for you, because I know you probably might have questions during when I'm speaking, and I just find it a lot easier to go with my flow and go through it all. So by all means, just pop any questions you've got at the end, and then I will go through them with you and James. So I'll just do a quick introduction to what the masterclass is going to be about today. So it's all about Instagram and how you can use the Instagram features to find your ideal clients and engage with them. Make successful, genuine connections for your business using your social media profile. So I'll just do a quick introduction of who I am, just in case you've not met me before. So my name's Emma, and I'm a social media manager. So basically, I love to help mums in business with their social media channels and engagement, just so that they can shut the laptop at the weekend and spend quality time with their family. So I actually work from my home in Widnes in Cheshire. I've got my sidekick here, which is Logan, my husky, who keeps me company during the day. I'm currently supporting busy mums and female entrepreneurs with their Instagram and social media accounts for their businesses. So the things that I help them with is things like content creation, graphics, scheduling, email marketing management, but most importantly, their engagement. So this basically covers things like getting in touch with their ideal clients and building relationships that allow them to then work with them. So if you're perhaps joining us today and you've got an Instagram marketing strategy that's not quite working as well as you'd like, or if you've not really used Instagram before and you're looking for ways to improve that, this will definitely help you with that. In this class, so I'm going to go through like a step-by-step guide of how you can find your ideal clients using Instagram, how you can nurture genuine relationships with them, and also how you can turn them into fans of what you want them to buy from you. Okay, so that's basically how that's going to work. So let's get started. So first of all, before you actually do anything on Instagram itself, what I always advise people to do is build your foundations. So before you even start your marketing, there's a few must-dos that you need to box off so that you're giving your business or organization or club the best chance of turning your audience into warm leads and paying clients. So what I've done is I've broken this down into a pyramid format just to show you how it works. So we'll start at the bottom and then work our way up to the top. So by the end of the class, you'll have everything in place that you need to feel confident and start marketing your business or organization on Instagram. So the first thing, and one thing that a lot of people forget to do when they are looking at a marketing strategy and actually trying to grow their business online through social media, is that they don't know who it is they're looking for in terms of their ideal client. So they're doing all of the things, they may be creating posts and events and all different things to promote their business, but they're not actually focusing on who it is that they're trying to attract to that business. And when you don't know who it is you're targeting, what then tends to happen is the messaging can fall a bit flat, and sometimes you're not actually getting the intake of people that are out there and actually want to be part of your business and organization. So this one is a really key part that is sometimes overlooked, not always forgotten, but sometimes overlooked by people when they're starting to grow an online business. So it's time to get a little bit more tactical in who it is you are following and engaging with on Instagram. So the end goal of you being on Instagram for your business and organization and club is that you want your ideal client to see you. They want to be able to interact with you and they can see you visibly showing up for your business. So you need to either be visible to them by building a relationship with them directly for the algorithm to form a connection between you both. So the way I understand it, and I know the algorithm sounds like a really jargony word, so to break this down a little bit more for you, basically you've got the little minions in the background that are connecting all of these accounts together. And the more you interact and are seen by the people that you want to be seen by, the more your content, so your posts and everything will show up on their newsfeed. But if there's no connection or relationship between you both, then you will keep missing each other's posts because it's not recognizing that there's actually that sort of relationship there between you. So the more you interact with people that are your ideal clients and the more they interact with your content, that means that they're then forming that relationship. So then the little minions in the background recognize that there's a relationship there and then start pushing more of your content out to them. So they're going to see you a lot more than if you weren't interacting and engaging with them. So this can happen a variety of different ways. So how do you kind of build that relationship? So if you're liking their posts, if you're commenting on their posts, if you're getting to know them in the DMs, so the private messages, if you want to build a strong relationship, you can always start off by liking their posts and commenting on what they're doing, and then going into the DMs and just, getting to know them that way, if it's appropriate for you to do that. I would always say, with the DMs, the easiest way to start a conversation with someone on a private level is by watching their stories, getting to know them a bit more, and then just, commenting as you would on a post, but then it goes straight into their private messages, just so that you're building that relationship, they're knowing who you are and what you're about. So the other way you can do it is you can hang out in the places that they're going to be hanging out in. So think about where your ideal client is going to hang out. So a lot of you are businesses and organizations and clubs that focus around sports and things for young children or teens, etc., and maybe adults as well. So basically think about where your ideal clients are going to be hanging out and also their parents. So if, for example, you're a dance club and you do classes for children that are of a certain age, and you want to really get your dance club in front of the eyes of the parents of that. What you'd really want to think about is, where would these parents be on Instagram? Are they on Instagram? Who would they be following on Instagram? So would they perhaps have a favorite person? So I know there's a lot of, for example, celebrities that are very well known for being like famous mums. So you've got like Lad Baby Mum, you've got the lady that was in the jungle, Giovanni Fletcher. So people like that, they're probably likely to be following these sort of bigger names and celebrity names, that you could then, find your ideal client within that group. So what you might find is that they're actually in their following, so you can see their accounts from there and start engaging with people. If you have a look at their account and you think, actually, that's an ideal account for me to start engaging with and getting to know a bit better, then you can, by all means, just follow them and just, like and comment on their profile and see if they may be interested then in sending their child to your dance club and things like that. So it just kind of grows from that, initial connection. But before you do any of that, before you actually start doing any of the engagement, the best thing to do is just to do this small exercise, which is just finding out who is your ideal client. So have a think about it. I mean, this pack I will send over to James, so you can print it out and you can, write on it if you want. But this exercise is such a powerful exercise to do when you start your marketing, because, like I said there, you wouldn't build a house on water. So you need to have some foundation in place of who it is you're actually trying to target. So the suggestions there, questions that you can think about to see, you know, do they need to be based locally to attend your classes, or do you do virtual classes? So is your club open to, you know, doing virtual classes, or would it just only be available to do there and then on the day? What do they like or dislike? Who are they following on Instagram? That's a really key one, because that's where you're going to find them hanging out. What are they struggling with, and what are their pain points? How can your product or service make their life easier? So all of this is just something that you can have a think about to actually start getting the cogs turning about who it is you're trying to attract. And if you already know who your ideal client is, then obviously you don't have to do this exercise, but this is just something that I think a lot of people do tend to miss, unfortunately, and it is a really key one. So once you know your ideal client, it's time to move up to the next level. So the next point is where you're going to be preparing your profile. So this next step is going to help you to ensure that your own profile has the wow factor, so that once you've started posting content and you're engaging with your ideal clients, when they visit your profile, so when they have a quick look to see who you are and what you're about, they'll want to know more about what you do. And that's where you start then getting people engaged with your content and buying from you, clicking through your links to then, you know, find out more about your classes and things. So it does start that kind of engine with going, but you do need to obviously make sure that when they visit your profile, it's the path of least resistance. Okay. They can go in and see straight away who you are, what you do, whether or not they're the right person for you, for them. And if you are what they're looking for, they'll then click on the link that you've got on, hopefully on your profile, and then order, or, you know, book a class, or, you know, set up whatever it is they need to do to buy from you, because it's easy for them to do that. So you think about the big brands like Amazon, you know, it's literally 2 clicks and you've ordered something, which is dangerous, but also amazing how well they've done their customer experience journey. And it's really important that you have that same customer experience journey for your potential clients when they're visiting your social media profile. You want them to be able to find out who you are really easily, click on a link if they're interested, and then get what they need in a matter of minutes. It shouldn't be too complicated for them to find out who you are, what you do, and then to actually order what it is that you can offer them. So preparing your profile is another key step that you do need to really think about on Instagram. So the first part of this is going to be boosting your bio. So your bio, if I just show you the next slide, just to give you an idea, this here is what I mean by your bio. So it's basically, as soon as someone goes onto your Instagram profile, it's the first thing that hits them. It's the first thing they're going to see. And it's basically going to tell them whether or not they're interested in what you do, whether they're going to follow you. So it's a really key part of your branding on your Instagram profile. So your bio is basically the part that tells the audience who you are, what you do, and all that type of thing. So if you're a service-based business, which I know quite a lot of you are, if you're the face of your brand. So if you're maybe an individual that's set up your business and you're doing it all yourself, or if you're part of a bigger organization and a bigger brand, I always say, you know, it's always good to have the faces of the people that you are, if that's you, if you're the leader, or if it's someone else, you know, the bigger person that's known for the brand, to have that as a profile pic, not your logo. So people buy from people, and I appreciate if your logo is a really well-known logo, if it's a massive brand like, I don't know, Coca-Cola, Nike, that type of thing, then it's a little bit different. But when you're a small business, it's actually really helpful for people to be able to see the person that they're going to be speaking with. So especially if you're a local club or organisation, they're going to want to know who they're going to be speaking to, who their kids are going to be looked after by. You know, that type of initial relationship building is really important. So they'll want to see who they'll be working with. Ideally, have your brand colours in your profile. So if you've got brand colours for your club or organisation, specifically, maybe it's like red and white or blue and yellow, whatever it is, try and have that reflected in the background, if you can, of your profile picture. But the reason for that is when people are going through Instagram stories, if they see yours pop up, and you've got your brand colours in the background, they'll be able to then see that correlation and think, oh, right, okay, yeah, that's such and such from that dance studio. And it will instantly give them that kind of recognition of you and that brand. So that's a really important one if you can possibly have it in the background somewhere, and that helps with building that relationship further. If your name isn't clear from your username, pop at least your first name into your bio. So what I mean by this is, so my handle here, my username is Ask Emma Social. That's my business name. Now, I know it's quite clear that that is obviously my name, but for some people it might not be that clear. So I've put my actual name here as well, and then my title here. Now, this part in bold is all searchable. So if someone was to go in here on the search box and search for a social media manager, then my profile will come up in this search list. So think about what you could put in there for your business or organisation or club that people would search for, because what's in here on this very first line, sorry, I've just clicked that, didn't mean to click it. On this very first line here, this is all searchable, okay? So when they type in the search box, it will come up with a list of people that have put social media manager in that box. So if you're not doing that already, then I would recommend that you put the name of your club or your title in that club, just so that people can associate with what you do. Because when they're searching for that, say they're looking for a dance teacher, okay, they put dance teacher in there, it's going to list a huge list of dance teachers. But if you've not got that in your title here in the bold on the first line of your bio, you're not going to come up in that search box, okay? So that's something that I would really recommend that a lot of people don't realise you need to do. So pop at least your first name into the bio, and then what it is that you do. Put what service you offer in the name box, like I've just said there, so when people are searching, you appear. So whatever it is you do, whether it's gymnastics, swimming, football coach, yoga instructor, whatever it is, make sure that's in that first line. Tell people who you help and how you help them. So again, just going back to the example here, so I take care of social media and engagement for mums in business so they can spend more time with family. And basically, if a mum in business comes to my account and she thinks I need someone to take care of my social media and my engagement, then that's perfect. They know that they're in the right place. And that's why we recommend putting who you help and how, so that when they see that, they go, oh yeah, she's perfect for me. That's exactly who I need to speak to. Okay, so moving on, step 2 is preparing your profile for success. So what I would recommend you do, if you're already doing this, it's not a problem, it's not an issue, but I would recommend removing them, is taking any hashtags that you have out of your bio. So if you've got hashtags in here that are maybe related to what you offer and do, maybe it's even your brand hashtag. I mean, your brand hashtag's okay, but if it's just general hashtags like dance studio or gymnastics club or something like that, take them out of your bio, because the reason is they're clickable. So if someone goes to your bio and they see that you've got a hashtag here, okay, and they go, oh, it's gymnastics club, I'll click on that, and then they click on it, it's going to take them to a massive pool of people that have got gymnastics clubs that may be local to your area or not, and basically going to bring them to your competitors. So they're coming away from your profile and they're going to go into a massive pool of other people that are actually doing that. So what I would recommend is, I would recommend taking them out. And if you are going to put hashtags in there, only put your branded hashtags. So if you've got, like, for example, mine's hashtag Ask Emma Social, because that's my branded hashtag. There's not anyone else using, as far as I'm aware, there's not anyone else using that hashtag on their Instagram profile. So it means that everything that they see on there is my posts and my business posts. So if you want to do that, by all means, put your brand hashtag in, but any other hashtags, take them out. Location is really, really important if you're a locally based business, especially if you're only offering local services. So if the classes that you do require the people to live locally, like you don't offer anything that would, be suitable for someone at the other side of the country, for example, make sure that you specify your location in your bio straight away, so that people know that it's for that particular area, and maybe even put some other locations nearby in if they're maybe you are based in a town. So for example, where I live in Widnes, you've got surrounding towns, so you've got like Runcorn, Warrington, Frodsham, so there's different places surrounding where we are that might actually be suitable to come to the local area to do the club and things. But you know, if you're an online service, you know, you don't necessarily need to focus on that. So for example, for me, I'm online and I can work with anyone all over the country. It's not relevant that they have to live locally to me. So that's why I don't specify my location on there, because it's not relevant for my clients. But if your club is specifically only for local people to attend, and they can only get there, you know, through being at the actual event, then that's obviously something you need to make sure that you put into your bio. So yeah, definitely put your location in. And again, the reason for that is because the location is searchable. So if people are searching for things like, you know, Widnes or wherever it is you live, then just make sure you put it in there. And then lastly, always have a call to action before the link in your bio. So I don't know how many of you know this. I appreciate everyone's going to have different levels of knowledge in regards to Instagram and social media. But the only clickable link that is available on your Instagram profile is this one here. So it's like the fourth line down of your bio. And that is the only link that is clickable. So if you put a post up here and basically you put a link in the caption, it won't be clickable. They can't click on it. Basically, it will just allow them to copy and paste it. So they can copy and paste it and put it into a browser if they're doing it on the internet like this. But it won't let them do it on a mobile phone. So even if you did it on a mobile phone, it doesn't let you click through to it. So just be very aware that the only link that they can click on is here. That's the only one. So I tend to do a call to action before it. And what I mean by a call to action is basically telling them what to do with the link. Because a lot of the time people might see that link and they don't really know what it does. They don't even understand it. But if you put something in front of it, saying things like start here, book here, sign up to a class here, you know, register or join our waiting list here. So if you've got a waiting list maybe for an event that's coming up, and you want to start gathering a bit of interest, then do that here. Anything that's relevant to you, then put it in the link. And you can basically put your website in there. You could do an inquiry form. So maybe if you've not got a website and you're thinking, well, like, what do I put in the link? Because I've not even got a website. That's fine. Because what you can do is you can put in either maybe a Facebook page, if you've got another social media page. You could put in a just trying to think of other ones that you could, if you've got like maybe an email marketing system. So if you've got a lead magnet, so if you're trying to get people onto an email list, so you can send out emails rather than doing it through social media, you can create a lead magnet, which is basically done through MailerLite, and that's basically an email campaign system. So it's almost like having a little mini website for your business, and then people go on there to register for your emails. And then they go onto your email list, so you can subscribe them and send them emails. So that's another way you could do it. But yeah, there's all different things you can put in there, but just make sure that you do make it relevant to your business on that side. Right, so that's that bit sorted. Next bit is stories. Okay, not sure how many of you use stories, if you've ever thought about doing it, not sure what to put on there. My recommendation is to start using them as soon as you possibly can for your business. It's a really, really good way of building a relationship with your ideal clients. So I know that it's very scary putting your face onto camera. Okay, I've been there. I'm a fellow introvert. You know, I'm really not that type of person that wants to put my phone in my face and start talking to it. It feels very unnatural. But to ease you into your stories, you can just post and text images to begin with. So it doesn't have to be you filming yourself or filming anyone in the club doing any activities. It could just literally be a case of putting posts and text and images. You can even add gift stickers on there as well in your stories to make them stand out a little bit more. And there's a way of doing that on the smiley face icon when you open up your story app, and you can see there's a smiley face icon. I think it's in the top right, if I remember rightly. And then it gives you a menu of different things you can add on, and just have a play about with it and see what works for you. But yeah, you don't have to do yourself filming it if you're really uncomfortable doing that. If you want to add polls and questions to your stories, that's another good idea to do as well. So this is the way of you being able to not just ask questions to your audience, but find out more about what it is that they want to see from the club. Maybe if you've got some ideas about events that you want to run and you want to see how popular they're going to be. You could get their engagement and see what they think. People that are following your account, they'll give you some pointers. You can ask them openly, what would you like to see from the club? What would changes would you like us to do? We're looking to change something up. This is what we're looking to do. How would you feel about this? Ask them open-ended questions, and you will get a lot of engagement from your audience then by just asking the question. So yeah, give them a few options. And then if anyone does reply to you, then you can send them a DM and just thank them for getting involved in the poll. And asking them, is there anything they need from you at the moment? Maybe they've been watching, but they've not, subscribed or joined any classes yet. They're just maybe feeling that it's not just right for them. You can start conversations with people that ordinarily you would never have known are interested in your brand and what you do. And then if you do feel a bit more confident, you can start by doing piece to camera short videos. Now, these only have to be 15 seconds. So it's not going to be an hour-long video of you talking, to yourself, or it feels like you're talking to yourself when you're doing them. But yeah, they only have to be 15 seconds and they only last 24 hours. So once you've posted a story and it's gone out into the world, first of all, if you don't like it, you can delete it. It's completely controlled by you. And secondly, even if you don't like it, it doesn't matter because it's gone out into the world, and you know what? It might be seen by your ideal client, and that's the one thing that you want to happen. And they might actually go, "Oh yeah, I forgot about this swimming club that's on. I meant to say to such and such about it." It just gives them that reminder of what's going on, and it's there because. This is the thing with like social media marketing. If you're not marketing on social media, there's so many other businesses that are, and then there's people that are going on social media and they're seeing all of these businesses and seeing what they're about and talking to them about them to their friends. But when you're not doing that, if you're not being as consistent, what tends to happen then is people unfortunately do forget. They might have followed you a while ago, but then if they're not seeing consistent posts from you, they might think, oh, maybe that business is shut down now. Maybe it's no longer running, but actually you're still there and you still want to obviously, open up your doors to them. But because they can't see you visibly, then, they think perhaps that you're no longer running. So, just going back to this stories thing. So if it's anything longer than 3 minutes, so if you're going to be doing a video, and perhaps it's going to be quite a long one, perhaps you're going to be interviewing someone in the club, maybe you're doing like a walkthrough and showing people around the different places and what it looks like, behind the scenes. Whatever it is you're doing, if it takes longer than 3 minutes, it's probably going to take you too long to do it as a story piece. So what I would say to you then is do it as an IG video instead. So all you do is just upload it as a grid post and it uploads it to your IG videos instead. But yeah, that's another option if you want to. And if you want to add caption to it, you can use the caption feature in stories. Now, what I would say there, when you're doing stories, if you're talking to the camera, whether you're on the camera or just using it as background voice effect, I would really recommend putting captions on your stories. Now, the reason I say this is because not everybody watching your stories will be watching it with the speaker on. So what you'll tend to find is a lot of the time, people will say to you, oh, I'm just going to go I'm just going to grab the train into, I don't know, Liverpool or Manchester or whatever. And then people will have their music in, but then they're watching their Instagram stories, but they're not actually listening to what's being said. So they're watching the stories, but all they can see is you talking, but they can't see what you're saying. they'll skip past it, go to the next one, go to the next one. So if you've got captions on there, it just means then that, you know, people can see what you're saying without having to listen. And also it makes it user friendly for people that are deaf and things like that. So definitely make sure that you're being as accessible as you can to all different types of people that are on social media. The last thing you could do, which really helps again with building that connection that I talked about at the beginning, is going live, which is very, very scary for a lot of people, including myself. It took me 6 months before I went live on Instagram. Even though I'd been doing the stories, it's a very different beast doing a live video. But again, the Instagram algorithm really favors video content right now. So even though static posts are working, if you can do videos, that will mean that you'll get more reach. So things like, I would say, doing a live video would be really good if you're doing, maybe if it's a football club that you run, you could do like a halftime, you know, catch up with the team. You could do, you know, if they're doing like a penalty shootout, have it live, you know, so people can watch it live. Just something that's a little bit different, that's exciting for people to watch when they go into the lives. They'll think, oh, this is quite interesting. So try and think of how you can adapt it to your own club. It doesn't have to be, like I say, yourself sitting there talking. It can be based around the activities that you're doing and things like that, so people get a bit more involved. So the other thing you can do on Instagram is use highlights and guides. Now, highlights are, if I just go back to that example that I've got here, these things here, okay? So these are your highlights that you might have seen on people's profiles and wondered what they are. So basically, it's a collection of stories that are saved to your profile. So if you've done a series of stories, perhaps on tips and tricks or testimonials, maybe you've had some really good customer reviews back in, maybe you want to do some of your prices, so you've got a price list of the different classes that you do, and question and answer, maybe if you've done a Q&A, any interviews that you've done with people behind the scenes, you know, think as vast as you want. These are just ideas that you can do for your business, but obviously you can make it into your own. And the reason why they're quite handy to have is because people want to see straight away, to build that know, like, and trust factor with you. They want to be able to see that you can, you know, do what they need you to do. So things like your background, your services, behind the scenes, meet the team, testimonials is a really good one. So customer reviews, you know, because a lot of people, especially if it's parents that are going to be sending their children to a new club, you know, they want to be able to see that, you know, it's a safe place for them to go, that the kids are enjoying themselves and all that type of thing. So yeah, just make sure you've got something along those lines in your highlights if possible. And the guides feature is something that came out, I think it was more towards the end of 2020. It's not really been that much featured lately, but it's still there. So it's still being used by people. And basically what it is a way for you to showcase your products or services. So perhaps you've got like a top 5 hot sellers or services that you want to sell to your audience. Maybe you've got top 5 recommendations from clients. If you've got 5 brilliant reviews that show how outstanding your club is, and you really want to showcase that, then pop it onto your guide. Another one might be the equipment or clothing that you recommend for certain sports that you do. So where can they buy that from? You know, give them sort of a bit of guidance around, you know, is it a particular merchandise place that they need to go to buy it from? Can they get it from other places? Where do you recommend that they buy it from? Because what you've got to remember is these people are coming to you and your club because you're the expert of that. Then they're maybe completely beginners and new to doing this whole sport. So they might not actually know where to get, you know, the outfits and equipment and all that and clothing from that they need to be able to do that sport. So think of it like as if you're the ideal client. You know, a lot of people might be put off by doing, I used to be part of, for example, like a kickboxing club, and I was like, I'd have no idea where to buy kickboxing clothes from. Like I wouldn't have a clue. And then obviously when I got to the club, they did their own and they showed me how to buy it and everything like that. So you know, things like that, people might think, oh, you know, I need to go and buy my own stuff, when actually you might be able to sell them the stuff that they need. So things like that might be worth considering. And then the next bit is interaction. So I'm just aware of the time. Sorry, I'm going to try and speed it up a little bit. Interaction, right? Okay, so engagement equals interacting. So a lot of people say to me, what is engagement? Okay, because engagement sounds like you're getting proposed to, which it is, but on Instagram it's a totally different thing. So engagement basically is interacting with other profiles, and there's 4 main ways you can do this. So you've got your grid posts, which you post from your profile, and that then shows in people's news feeds. So you can create grid posts for your own profile and comment on other people's grid posts that go through your news feed. You've got watching and interacting with people's stories. Now, this is a really big one for engagement, because sending reactions or messaging them directly in response to their posts will really boost engagement. And then creating reels, I just need to move this out of the way, creating reels and commenting on others to reach new people. So reels is a whole different masterclass that I might need to do at some point in the future, because there's so many different things and parts of it. I wouldn't possibly have time to go through it all with you now, but reels is basically a short form video that you can create on your phone using music audio effects. And it's basically a bit like TikTok. So if you've ever used TikTok, or if your kids maybe have TikTok, they'll probably be able to tell you a bit about it as well. But it's basically Instagram's version of the TikTok videos that came out. So what Instagram realized was that TikTok was really taken off. It's become, you know, a really well-known and global phenomenon at the moment with all the dance videos, especially with the dancing and things. So if you're like a dance class and club, Reels is a really good one for you, because this is where you can showcase the dance club's talents by doing the dances and things and getting them recorded, and it's very short form. So basically it's like a 15-second video. They've recently extended it to 60 seconds, so you can do up to 60-second video, but the sweet spot with Reels is to do between 8 and 10-second videos. So if you can get your video timed to last between 8 and 10 seconds, then that becomes a really highly playable video, just because people tend to watch it more than once. So they'll see it and they'll go, oh, and then they'll watch it again. And that the more repeated views there are of your reel, so the more times people are watching it, the more it's going to be boosted out to other people to see it. And this is particularly good if you're trying to grow your audience. So when you're maybe a small club at the moment and you've only got a few hundred followers, that's absolutely okay. But you might want to then, you know, reach further, and you're trying to get out to more people. And if that's what you're trying to do, Reels is a really good way of doing that. The other thing is going live and connecting directly with your audience, so you can collab with others to reach a wider audience as well. So if you've got someone else that maybe offers a different sport, and you're maybe looking to collaborate with those people to do an event of some kind, or maybe even if it's just a local business. So say, for example, you might have someone that's a clothes designer and things that you want to work with for the kits. And you've then got people that are obviously, you know about that clothes designer, but they might not necessarily know about your football club. Then you can direct them obviously to them. So it's a good way of working with other people and working with other businesses to actually, you know, collaborate and grow your own audience, so people find out more about you. And then let me just move this back down. I'm going to break this down into 2 parts. So interacting is actually 2 ways. So you've got interacting with your current audience. So that's you getting involved with the people that are following you at the moment. And then you've also got interacting with new potential ideal clients. So this is where you're actually interacting away from your own profile and going and finding people that are not currently following you. So statistically, both of these types of interactions are important for your engagement rate. So it will help you to improve your reach, which is controlled by the Instagram algorithm, or as I like to call them, the minions. But the most important thing I want you to remember is that it is so much more beneficial to your business to have a smaller engaged community of followers on Instagram rather than a high number of followers who don't engage with your content. So you could have 30,000 people following you, but if only 10 of them are engaged with your content, that's absolutely pointless. Similarly, you might only have 300 people that follow you, but out of those 300 people, 150 of them are engaging and getting involved in your content. That is so much more valuable. So don't ever feel as a small club or small business owner, or just starting out on Instagram, that because you've not got thousands and thousands of followers, that it's you're not doing very well. It's nothing to do with how many people are following you. It's how many people are engaging in content and want to buy from you, know who you are, and share your content and all that type of thing. So definitely focus on who it is you're trying to target rather than the number of people. And then interacting with your current followers. So how do you find these people, and how do you actually interact with them? So this is what works for me. By all means, adopt this method to fit your own working week, and do it so that it fits around you and your lifestyle. Because there's nothing worse than having a regimented social media strategy that doesn't work for you, that means that you don't enjoy doing it. The whole point is that you enjoy it and you get to know more of the people in your audience. So first thing I do is I try and post my stories at least once a day. And the reason for that is the more consistent you are with it, the more you will show to them. Notice I said try, because like many of you, I can't be on my stories all the time. So, there are going to be days when you're not going to be on your stories because you've got client work, because you're doing your classes, because you've got other things going on in your business. You just might not have time to do it. So I'm not saying it's a done deal. You've got to do it every day. But if you can, try and aim for that. And then if you can do every other day, then that's great too. It's better than not showing up at all. So on the days where you physically can't show up, just spend a few moments sharing your audience content. So you don't even have to be visible on video every day. You could just see a piece of content that's actually really good that one of your fellow followers has put, and you think, actually, that's a really good piece of content. I'm going to share that and tag it. So tag them in your posts and stories, and you just show up then in their DMs to say that you've tagged and posted to their story. So it just gives them that little, oh, right, okay. And it reminds them that you're still there in the background as well. Interacting with your current followers. So again, engage if you can for 15 to 30 minutes per day. I know this probably sounds a lot to start with, but it can make a real difference if you just start commenting on people's posts and getting to know them better. Reading the captions on the posts. Just imagine as if you're being introduced to a person, like in a networking meeting or in a potential client situation. They've started a conversation by what they've written in the caption. Just respond to it as you would in normal person. You don't have to be formal on social media. Write as you speak. A lot of people worry, about making sure that they're saying everything in the right way. But honestly, write as you speak. There's nothing wrong with doing that, because it is social media and people will relate to you more as well. Especially if you've got like localisms that you say in your area, people will recognize that. So, just don't feel, bad about putting things like that on there either, because it's social media. This is your outbound strategy. So interacting with new potential clients. So perhaps you're trying to grow your audience a bit more and you want to get more momentum and more people coming into your business and obviously buying from you. So all of the steps that we've covered so far basically have led to you being able to grow your audience confidently, and you can start to nurture new clients to join your community. So this is something a lot of people shy away from because it feels salesy, and it can feel like you're maybe going out there a bit, and you've got a certain level of confidence to go out and talk to people, but literally it can just be the start of getting to know people, and that's how you do things, isn't it? So because you've now spent the time focused on your ideal client and boosting your own profile to get to a level that makes you feel confident within how your shop window looks, you can now really hone in and engage with those dream clients with confidence. So let's have a look. So how do you interact with your new potential clients? So finding these perfect clients, start by thinking about what hashtags they'll be using on their posts. So let's give you an example. If you've got a club or organisation based in Manchester, your ideal client is parents of children, search for Manchester parents, hashtag summer holiday ideas, hashtag what's on Manchester, because this is what the parents will be looking for to do for the kids for the summer holidays. So what you want to think is, right, what are these people going to be looking for and posting about when they're trying to find things to do for the kids for the summer holidays, especially with that coming up now. So put yourself in the shoes of the person that you want to buy from you. So pick 3 to 5 hashtags that will be used by your ideal client. Follow that hashtag. So when you type that in on the search box, it will come up a bit like this demo here. So this is what you're going to see on Instagram. And then you can see people are already posting and promoting the like baby and toddler event there, for example, and like interactive things. So people are already promoting using that. So if you follow that hashtag, for example, you'll start to see people commenting and tagging their friends on these posts and saying, oh, this looks quite good, should we do that? And you can then follow them and see whether they'd be one of your ideal clients as well. So this is just how you can start that ball rolling and finding people outside of your current following that might actually be interested in what you do, because the likelihood is if they're following the hashtag Manchester Parents, they're likely to be a parent in Manchester. So think about what type of hashtags that you could do for your business and where you're based and that type of thing. If you want to track it all, you can track it on a spreadsheet to track the progress of your engagement activity with them. Keep building a relationship with them over time, start getting to know them and try to understand what they're struggling with. If you can help them, help them. If you follow an account that isn't engaging back, say after 4 weeks, probably time to move on and you know, focus on another client instead. But it's just worth starting that conversation with them and see whether or not it's something they might be interested in. And then finally, because we've done step 3 now, so we've done your interactions, is attracting, so driving people to your profile. So this is all about how you use hashtags to attract your ideal clients before you engage with them. It's how they find you, basically, so how they come across you. So on each grid post that you upload, whether it's a story, whether it's a post, whether it's a reel, when you put something on your profile, you can add hashtags to it, and the hashtags basically make it searchable. So it's a bit like Google. When you type into Google what you're looking for, that's what the hashtags do. It links it to your post. So it just means then that you've got something related to it. So the more hashtags you use, the more opportunities you'll have to connect with your ideal client. So for me, why would you not use all 30 hashtags? So what I tend to recommend people do is put your hashtags in the caption, because that makes it searchable. But what I've found recently with a lot of my client accounts is if we split the hashtags, so put 15 hashtags in your caption and 15 hashtags in your first comment of your post, then what that does basically, it boosts your engagement as well. So it's showing there's activity in your comments straight away as soon as the post goes out. So make sure the 15 hashtags that are in your caption are the ones that people are searching for. And then the other ones can just maybe be like brand hashtags and things like that. So I'd recommend using a mixture of low, medium and high hashtags for the keywords that your ideal client are going to be searching for on Instagram. So for example, if you're a health coach, you'll see that when you search for hashtag health, there are millions of posts containing that hashtag. So the likelihood of you showing up in a pool of millions is very low, okay? You'll literally be at the top of that pool for milliseconds, and then you'll drop because so many people are posting and posting with that hashtag that your one that was at the top will just get pushed down to the bottom. So what you want to look for really is a mixture of high, medium and low. So what I mean by high, medium and low, let me just go back to this one here. So this hashtag Manchester Parents, it tells you here the number 1,249 posts, right? So it says there how many people have posted using that hashtag. Now that's quite low, because when you think you can have a post that's probably hashtag Manchester is maybe 1 million, whereas hashtag Manchester Parents is more specific because it's based around Manchester Parents, not just Manchester the place. So it's got less posts, and that means then that when you post with that hashtag, you will show up more likely towards the top than you would in a pool of 1 million. I hope that makes sense. Let me know in the chat if I've completely bamboozled you with that. Okay, so yeah, that's basically what I would advise in regards to obviously being found by your ideal client. Very niche hashtags are also good. A lot of people stay away from very niche hashtags, and what I mean by very niche hashtags is like ones that are really specific to what you do. So maybe you're a specific dance club company that does a specific dance only, you know, put that in. because you want people that are looking specifically for what you do to find you, and the likelihood is they're going to be searching for that specific thing. So that's how people find you. I mean, recently I had a client that found me because I'd put a hashtag Instagram engagement specialist, and that's what I specialize in for my clients. So they'd actually found me by searching for that specifically. And they're the type of people that I want to work with because that's who I specialize for. So, don't be afraid to put really niche hashtags onto your posts, because that means that the people that you want to find you are more likely to find you. Okay, so that's step 4 done. So these are the 4 steps that we've gone through today. Like I say, I'm going to send a copy of this to James, and yeah, basically I'm done now. So I'll hand it back to James and see if we've got any questions in the chat.
Thanks, Emma. I thought it was really good, really helpful. And yeah, we'll obviously email out the recording and the slides as well. I've got a couple of questions. I don't know if you can see any from your end, but I've got one here about, well, just I guess, how do we know how many people are engaged in inverted commas? So is there a way to track that? Is it just looking at the metrics on the post themselves, or is there reports you can pull?
Yeah, no, you can get it from your insights. So when you go on your mobile, you have to do it from your mobile. You can't get your insights from desktop. So you need to do it on Instagram on your mobile, go into your insights, which is on your profile, and it will say accounts engaged. I think is the second one down. So you can actually see the number of accounts that are engaged in your content, and that updates on a 7-day basis. So if you check it, towards the beginning of the week and then check it towards the end of the week, you'll be able to see whether or not that's improving or not. But the best time to do your analytics is at the end of the month. So I would always do, if you get a chance to, obviously I appreciate you've got a lot of things to do, but if you get a chance to do a monthly engagement analytics, if you go onto your analytics now, they're really good. They used to be a bit iffy on Instagram, but they've actually really improved them lately. And every month just do it and keep a track of it. So you just even do a screenshot on your phone, so you don't have to put it on a spreadsheet and do all that. You can just literally take a screenshot on your phone, and then each month you can see your progress as you're going through and measure it that way. But yeah, definitely check your insights, but it's only available on your mobile.
Thanks, Emma. Quite a specific one here. So
yeah,
this person says how to upload voiceovers with lines from films or songs and where to find them, and use them with a video of your choice. And then they followed up, I think, after you covered a little bit about subtitles. I've seen some brave people lip sync into voiceovers, but also I've noticed that they work well as background without showing yourself. And then he said, perhaps we need a separate session on Reels, which might cover this particular topic.
Yeah, I was going to say, I mean, Reels is like a whole different thing altogether. I mean, I could talk all day about Instagram. I just don't want to take too much of your time up. But yeah, basically, with the Reels, so when you say the voiceovers from films, I mean, you can record whatever you want and put it on a reel. The problem is copyright side of it probably would mean that it might get shut down. But a lot of people, that's how these trends start. So what you'll tend to find is, if you want to search for a trend in audio, so say there's a particular line from a film that you want to use, I don't know, like Arnold Schwarzenegger or whatever, like I'll Be Back, I don't know, and you want to try and find that particular audio, then you can actually search for that through Reels. So you can find tracks. So there's a particular song that you want to use, to make sure it's royalty approved, then I would definitely search for it through the Reels first. But you can actually do your own voiceovers to Reels as well. So, rather than recording it from a film, you can actually put your own voice to a Reel. It doesn't have to be an audio from a film or from a TV show or from anywhere else. But yeah, I think definitely I'd be happy to do like another class with you about Reels, because I just think it's probably easier to do like demos on that, because I can show you on my phone, I can record things and maybe show you how to do it, rather than it being on a presentation, and then you can see it a lot better then.
That makes sense. Tamsin asks a question about engaging with mums. As a mum, I'm always a bit suspicious when companies start engaging me on Instagram. I see straight through it and it puts me off. If you're trying to engage with mums through Instagram, what are the best strategies? I think it's a good question, I guess. Yeah, if you're.
Yeah, no, totally. And that's the thing, I'm exactly the same. Now, I'm not even a mum, but I'm very wary of people directly contact me, and cold DMing is the worst for me. So if they've just literally blank straight out just tried to sell to me through a DM without even trying to get to know me first, or even like my account or anything like that, then I'm just very, very put off. So I completely understand that, especially for like mums as well. So for me, mine would be just building a relationship in regards to where they're hanging out. So for example, like I said, the mum accounts that you know that they'll be hanging out on, so I don't know, Mrs. Hinch, maybe Giovanni Fletcher, those mum accounts where you know that they're going to be. So you're actually commenting on that particular celebrity's posts, so they're seeing your brand and your business when they go onto that followers. So they might check Mrs. Hinch's account twice a day, and they go onto that grid post and see, your gymnastics club come up or your dance club come up. That you're letting them come to you rather than you having to engage with them. So if they then come to you and they follow your account, that to me kind of opens up that opportunity to get to know them. So you can then follow them back and then see what they're about on their profile. But like you say, don't be spammy with it. You don't need to be spammy with it. I think it's just a kind of, it's more like a visibility piece. It's more kind of getting yourself in those places where those mums are going to be, and then letting them come to you. Because I completely agree with what you're saying. Engagement can be really spammy, and if it's not done right, it's absolutely awful. And people just get put off by it now, and because people can see straight through it as well if that's what you're trying to do. But I think if you genuinely build relationships with people through Instagram, and they can see what you're about, and they know that you're a local dance club, you're doing this and you're supporting the community, actually people are quite more likely to engage with you than if they don't know that you're there. So yeah, no, I totally agree. I hope that helps a little bit anyway.
Georgia just followed up with saying yes, a how-to sessions on Reels would be great. So I'll be in touch with Emma about that.
Yeah,
Joe
sure.
asked, can you please go over the way you split the 30 hashtags between the post and the first comment again? Which is a good question.
Yes, sorry. I know I talk a million miles an hour. Sorry. So 30 hashtags, because that's the maximum you can use. So in my eyes, I always feel like if you're going to buy a lottery ticket, then why buy one when you can buy 30? That type of sort of scenario. So you've got more chances of being found if you've got 30 than just the one. So basically with hashtags, what I'm saying is on the caption, if you put 15, so split it half and half, so you've got 15 on the caption. So when you write in the caption, underneath you put the hashtags at the bottom. I mean, to be fair, it doesn't really matter where you put the hashtags, but I always tend to just put them at the bottom. And then the other 15 on the first comment of your post. Now, the reason why I'm saying to split them, and this is just from my own experience for my engagement, is that the algorithm will, when you put that post out to the world and then you comment on it, it's going to say, right, okay, this post has already got a comment. It's just been posted and there's a comment on it straight away. So it signals to the algorithm in the background, oh, this post has just gone out and it's already got a comment on it. So it's then looking like it's a popular post. So it's then going to push it out to more people. So more people will see your post, and then the likelihood of you getting more engagement will be higher because it's being pushed out to more people, basically. Now it's not a guarantee, but it's just, I've always found that the posts that have the most engagement for me, because when I've analysed it, are the ones where I've done that. So this is just through my own experience. And the thing is with Instagram, it is very much trial and error. So what works for one business might not work for another business, and you can't kind of model yourself on what everyone else is doing. You have to do what works for you and your business. So if you're finding that doing 30 hashtags in the caption is working well for you and you're getting engagement, you're getting people in, then just carry on doing that. There's nothing saying that there's anything wrong with doing that. But I've just noticed a pattern through my most engaged posts over the last few months where that feature tends to work. And I think that's what's happening in the background. I obviously don't know because I'm not an Instagram expert in terms of like what they do behind the scenes, but it signifies to me that there's something about doing that's pushing it out more. So that's just something that I've recognised and told my clients about. So I thought I'd share a little tip with you.
Thanks, Emma. All right, I think that's everything, unless anyone has any other questions. So if not, I'll sort of talk slowly in case anyone wants to type anything else.
Yeah.
If not, I just want to thank Emma for her time. for doing this webinar, and yet we'll be in touch with the recording and the slides, and also thank everybody who attended and taking time out of your day, and I hope it came in handy for you and your business. So have a good rest of the day, everyone.
Thank you.
See you later, guys.
Thank you.